We are live. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum, family. We are waiting for our sister and brother to join us. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Saturday Night Live. All right. Yeah, my name is Sister SisterSarahRoseKareem. Wa alaikum salam. And we're waiting for our good brother and sister to join us. Sister Farmer Courtney and brother Adam Nithin. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Carly. Yeah, assalamu alaikum. So we are excited to get into this topic of bearing witness to all that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. Okay, let's see. How do I? Nope. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, Brother Adam is joining us. Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings, family. We're just waiting. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Adam.
Wa alaikum salam.
What?
Peace, everybody.
Peace. Wa alaikum salam, Brother Jacob. Okay, and Sister Courtney will be joining us. Good evening, everyone. Oh, praise be to Allah. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, let's see.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, and I bear witness that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his messenger, Messiah, and now risen Christ. And if all of that sounds like, what are you talking about, sister? Then do not worry about it. It just, greetings of peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, so by Allah's grace, we were inspired to touch on this subject of bearing witness to everything the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, right? Because there's a lot of stigma, a lot of misrepresentation, misconceptions, and just they intentionally create this aura of stigma and controversy, and we want to just come on and bear witness, give sincere testimony, right? So who are we? My name is Sister SisterSarahRoseKareem. I'm calling in from Connecticut, from the East Coast, and I came actually into Orthodox Islam first by Allah's grace in around 2016, and I accepted the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in right at the top of 2020. So I've been studying the teachings ever since, and I'm so grateful. Sister Courtney, do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Yes, ma'am. Peace, everyone. So I'm Farmer Courtney. I live in upstate New York, and that's where I first encountered the teachings, and it was through a propaganda video that I had never heard anyone speaking like Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and I was trying to determine the truth of it. It was like a literal VHS tape many, many years ago, and that's how I came into studying the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because it really just resonated with me, the sound and frequency of his voice when I first heard him speaking on an old cassette tape, and then old VHS tapes. I just knew that it was a body of knowledge that I'd never heard of, and that seemed like it was purposely kept from me ever hearing about it. So I just have never been able to leave it alone or forget about that I heard it, and things always get confirmed in either direct or roundabout way. So
yes, ma'am.
Happy to be here. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Excellent. And Brother Adam, assalamu alaikum. Briefly introduce yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Peace, everybody. My name's Adam, and I am the white hillbilly from Missouri. No, I'm in Southwest Missouri. I came across the teachings I was living in Kansas City at the time, and And yeah, I mean, it was a whole process of really going through a complete destruction of what I thought I knew was the truth and what I had learned up to that point in my life, and coming to a realization that I had like lived in a reality that was not true. I had been lied to my whole life about most things, and I'd misunderstood the majority of my reality, which led to a pretty shaky life, and foundation wasn't really working out very well. So I became pretty open to examining new and controversial, and it was very logical and obvious to me to like look in places where people were telling you not to look at that point in time, so the more people told me not to look there, the more I was like, I've already figured this part out, that's BS, so I want to look there, you know what I mean? And as uncomfortable as it was, that's where I ended up, and by Law's grace, I was able to start wrestling with these concepts and grasping a new understanding of myself to rebuild my life again, so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. And I was studying from the Message to the Black Man today, and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad on page 117, he said, I am not teaching that which I want to be kept as a secret, but that which the world has not known and should know. So this is part of, as actually all three of us have been bearing witness, making content, over the years, and there's a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of pushback there, especially from like the Orthodox Islamic community or those outside of the Nation of Islam. And that is what keeps coming back to me, is they don't know, what we in general don't know what we don't know. And so, something like, so the narrative, the stigmatized narrative, right, of the Nation of Islam and the teachings is that they teach that, they teach that, that the white people were created on an island, 6,000 years ago. Like, how could you believe that as the truth? It's only so unbelievable when you have no context and you were brought up and taught and raised on lies. And the context that we're in, that we were all born into, that we, didn't have a choice being born into, right? Is that the reality is that the whole world is under Caucasian rule right now, is under the dominion, an oppressive rule by the Caucasian people, right? And I remember, Sister Courtney, you saying this to me, right? Of just this question of, why are we like this? Why are we like this? And actually, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he quotes the Iceman Inheritance, which is a reference by a Caucasian author, Michael Bradley, and the quote from the book is, "Why are we like this? Much effort has been expended in attempts to make sense of our own apparently senseless behavior. I propose that the white race, possesses an atypical level of aggression. It is in this sphere of abnormal violence that we, Caucasoids excel among races. It is this kind of violence that makes our history appear senseless to other men and even baffling to ourselves." So, these are questions that we all have to grapple with, like whether it's comfortable, uncomfortable, whatever it is, right? And I think all of us can bear witness that we need the truth as a starting point. We don't need to be afraid of the truth, but to even make sense of our own reality, like all of us have been seeking the truth of, okay, if this is true, if this is observable, if we can look at our history and see, what's going on, what's wrong with, what's wrong with the white man or something, right? Then, we're taught, seek and ye shall find, right? And so I just briefly wanted to break it down, right? For those for whom this is like brand new information, and also wanted to bring up references, right? So we are taught, right, that our history is only 6,000 years as a Caucasian race. And in the context of like human history, if you notice like what we're taught in, you know, in the white man's world, what we're taught, it doesn't go back really much further than 6,000 years, if you know, yeah. And so we were taught that Yaqub was a scientist, was a god that was born 20 miles outside of the holy city of Mecca. And he studied the life germ of the black man and found in it a brown germ, a black germ and a brown germ. And the brown germ was, you know, a weaker germ. And he had the idea to drive that brown germ to its last stage. And it took 600 years. And, you know, he said if he could separate the brown germ from the black germ, he could graft the brown germ into its last stage. And with this science, he could make the white man, that would be the product of that grafting process, into he could make the white man to dominate and control that black germ, the black man, until one greater than Yaqub was born. So this is a really deep subject. This gets into scriptural like prophecy and history. And it's something that cannot be like fully described in like one sitting. It's something that really has to be studied. But all three of us bear witness that like studying this truth has helped us to just understand reality the way it is, not the way we might like it to be, but the way it actually is. And there is a healing in knowing our true history and being able to find the healing that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought for us and for the whole human family. White people will argue that everyone would be as aggressive if given the chance. Yeah, but considering that genetically you cannot get dominant from recessive, it bears an explanation of like what happened. You know, how did we as genetically recessive become like dominant in the earth? And yeah, there's a lot to it. So some references to study this are Message to the Black Man on page 112. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad really teaches the full, you know, story of Yaqub. And The Time and What Must Be Done by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He goes into Yaqub in part 19 and part 27 and 28. Yeah. So I guess how, Sister Courtney, like how do you see, like how has this knowledge helped or benefited you? Yeah.
Well, yes, ma'am. It has greatly benefited me to have a higher spiritual perspective of what's going on nowadays. Like, I don't find myself easily led by any of the narratives. It like completely wiped my mind clean of that anybody else really has the authority to get me to like hyper focus on any one narrative and be like against these people or against those people or othering this group, or like it's just really given me a perspective of that none of that like it's all only partially, like whatever is maybe true or a fact within any of those things, that it is you can see the agenda in all the things. You know, it makes me really have a very long range of thinking and like a slow reaction. Yeah, it pretty much turned all of my like impulses to act on, you know, like upside down. Like I realized that that I couldn't really, you know, what we're taught, especially in this culture, is like, oh, follow your heart, or like do what you feel if it feels good. Like, no, that was out. It made me not trust, like, kind of like the you know, the software of thinking that had been installed by the teachings of this world. You know, that I was like, yeah, gonna, you know, gonna give that some thought before reacting. So yeah, that is walaikum salam, everyone that's coming in and sharing the greetings. Yeah, so that would be, I'd say, one of the main things I notice all the time, you know, like, because I'll observe people getting really heated, really upset, and I'm like, oh, we just really see things so differently. Not that things don't disturb me, like, you know, hearing of factual things and being like really disturbed by it, you know, on a like a human experience heart level, but knowing that the timeline is up, you know, like that, you know, that was the first video I ever made on here. Like I was just very firm about like the timeline of that 6,000 year period is over. And that's why, you know, you can see it in everything from like the crumbling infrastructure in the US roadways to like healthcare not being really healthcare, you know, fake food, fake news, like all the things. It's all a facade. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. It's like finding out your true context. There's something, even if it's painful, even if it's hard to accept, it's like a relief of finally knowing what is wrong. Like what is so wrong with the world. Like there's a comprehensive answer that now you look out into the world and all of it makes sense in this context, not only like in the span of our lives context, but like in this span of over 66 trillion years context of like, wow, we're at a certain pivotal point in time that like, I don't have to take this personally. This is such a bigger picture here, right? So Brother Adam, how do you see like and make sense of, you know, the reality, the true history of Yaqub? You know, how do you see that reality? How does that make sense to you? How does that benefit you? Or how do you, because a lot of people have questions, how do you grasp or accept this or really believe this as a Caucasian person, right? And so how does it make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you know, to be honest, like how I see it, to a certain extent, doesn't actually matter, because if it's the truth, how I feel about it or how I see it or whatever the case is irrelevant. I may have certain feelings at certain times and or certain battles with it or whatever the case is. I'm more so used to, but knowing that it's the truth, I mean, it's not hard to use, like you were talking about the science of genetics, and understand recessive and dominant and understand the timeline of history in which we're talking about, and then putting together and connecting the dots with scriptures and revelations and all of the different signs and data that you have to kind of put together. Like how I feel about it doesn't really matter, but today I feel all right about it. Somebody asked a while ago in the comments about if you feel insecure or less than or something like that. Does that teaching make you feel less than human? No, it makes me feel like a human again. Actually,
yes, exactly.
Because now did I
well, what do you like, do you want to break down what do you mean by that? Like what you just said?
Yeah, well, I lived a reality that wasn't a reality my whole life. it wasn't true. It wasn't true. It was a false reality. It was a facade. You know, it was an illusion. And so it wasn't clear. Like, I would build my life, or I would try to build my life. I couldn't see, I had no vision or clarity of what I was doing, and it would all burn down. You know what I mean? Or my nature would cause me to burn it down, or whatever the case is, right? And so like, so it gave me that clarity I need to take that hard look at myself. And you know, it's something that it's always hard to examine yourself and correct yourself, regardless of who you are. And so, yeah, it was difficult, but, and I was already pretty much in my life was kind of a mess. And so it gave me a direction in which I could build my life. You know what I'm saying? So, there's a quote I want to read too. And here's another thing I want to say is, reading from Message to the Black Man, and I've had many people, you know, ask me like, well, that's not a message to you then, right? If that's a message to the black man, that's not a message to you. But if you understand that everything comes from black, all colors, this is one concept that blew my mind initially, was you take all the colors of of the paint set or whatever, and you mix them all together, and what color do you get? Black. Black is all colors, right? You can derive any color from black. And so basic science tells you that everything came from black. And so if it's a message to the black man, then it's a message for everybody. So I can read that and I can understand it. Yes. You know, so there's a... Can
I just make a comment on what you just said? And I think this is part of the healing of the mind of white supremacy, right? Because it's not like the flesh, right. It's the mind of white supremacy, that what you just demonstrated was we need to find ourselves, our link back to the rest of the human family, right? And that's part of the healing of the mentality of I am better, you know, like, no, actually, we need to humble ourselves. That's the healing and the medicine for our spiritual condition, to get back in alignment, get back with God. And so, like, you're demonstrating that by seeing that, okay, here is this, the white man is not the center of the universe. Like, this is message to the black man, and being able to see your connection to the original family. Like, that's an important piece that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us how to do that. Right. Yeah, so go ahead, brother. I just want to point that out. I thought the way you articulated that.
That's okay. There's just a line here that I thought was really interesting about Yaqub, that was talking about how the teaching the nurses to kill the black baby and save the brown baby so as to graft the white out of it. By lying to the black mother of the baby, this lie was born into the very nature of the white baby.
Right.
And so that makes me also wonder, just to be honest with you, like, what if that lie was never told to us? What nature, even though the nature probably would be recessive, but like, and so it talks in there about a regrafting process that is possible, right? But yeah, Yaqub made us into that by the process that he used, you know. And I also see the whole purpose of it, so I'm not mad about that. I see the picture and the plan. And so I think it's a beautiful process, to be honest with you. Like, Allah knows best, and He is very wise. And the small portion of what I see that He's doing, I'm like, wow, that's actually beautiful, the way that He's making that all happen. But so yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, and what is the purpose? What is our purpose? Sister Courtney, do you want to touch on that? Like, your understanding or your thoughts? Because there is a beautiful purpose, right? And that's part of what allows us to stomach, right, the facts of it. What is the purpose of this journey that we're on?
Not just like what is our purpose, particularly like the three of us, like to give back like
Oh.
the skills and resources and knowledge that we might have that would assist, the people of God at this time to be of service, and how we can, give different resources and knowledge and things that still may not have been made everyone made fully aware of. So whatever our niche specialty of knowledge, that can be that can be a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think also just in general, like Brother Adam kind of touched on it, but there was a divine and beautiful purpose to the Caucasian race in general that that can be, seen in a positive light, right? Which is, it was God's purpose in the perfection of the human being. The Caucasian played a role in that, and that the role that the Caucasian played, we were made by nature to be in rebellion to God, but that there was a purpose in that nature. And for those of us individuals who submit, Allah is powerful to to change the nature. And that's all I'll say about that. But just that we there is a way for us, to become something other than what we've started as. And it's that self-improvement process that Allah is working on those of us who submit our will to do His will. We enter into a process that the three of us, are in that process, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I guess, let's see. What else do we want to touch on? Yeah, how have these teachings benefited you, or how have you seen, improvement in your life by, following and studying these teachings and then practically applying them to your life?
You want to go first, Brother Adam?
Sure. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. All right. Cool. I was gonna touch real quick. I don't know. I don't want to go too long, but on just my experience of where I come from and how I went through this process of this white supremacist mentality being ingrained in me, to getting completely destroyed, or is in the process maybe of still getting destroyed, but was totally, my mind was totally transformed. I grew up in this, so I lived in this Freemason and Shriner camp for years when I was a kid. And my family, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
my family is, my dad is a 32nd degree Mason, and my brother-in-law is a 32nd or 33rd, I don't know, and then there's Shriners, that live there. You had to be a Shriner or a Mason to live there, right? But where I'm going with this is, and so I remember one time I had a black friend, right, and I brought him into the camp. Right? This is in Branson, Missouri, too, by the way. The KKK was formed in Harrison, Arkansas, 30 minutes from there, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the type of environment it was in. We almost got kicked out of our house in this neighborhood because my black friend came in the neighborhood, and that is the type of environment that I lived in. And I didn't really, I was young. I was 15 or 14 or 15 or something like that at the time. I had no idea what was actually going on at that point in time. I just thought it was kind of all a joke. I just thought it was all just stupid and a joke, you know what I mean? And so, but that's kind of where I come from. So it was ingrained in me to be like that, and so I broke away from that, and when I got introduced to the teachings, I spent some time in jail, and ingrained, and I spent some time deep inside of this culture that I had never been in, and I had some really profound experiences where I realized that You know, I did have to look at myself. Like when Elijah Muhammad, when I'd read things about like the white man is the devil and stuff like that, like I would look at that and think like, dude, that is me. I mean, I had to come to grips with that. Like, that is how I was raised, how I was bred to be. You know, that was like my path. You know, and but I wasn't for that, man. I'd always I just hated unrighteousness. Even though I lived a life of unrighteousness, I hated it. I hated the lies. I hated the tricks. My family's always playing tricks. And I hated that from a young age. Like, and so I don't know exactly where I'm going with that, but that's just my experience of like,
Yeah.
I went through this process of seeing what it was and seeing kind of in the inside of this, you know, devil, whatever the case is, and I went through a process of being introduced to the truth, and so yeah, I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but I thought it was great to when I was in jail and I started seeing that like I'm the monster, you know what I'm saying? It's like and so I had to start changing that and dealing with that. So but yeah, I won't go on and on about that, but there's a lot of different details and places I can go with that, but yeah, that's just the experience. Is hey, you gotta examine yourself. You have to look deep in and analyze yourself and begin to correct yourself, and you can correct yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I mean, I keep coming back to seeing, you know, it's the white supremacist mind that is the disease that like we're trying to kill that mind, you know, in us and just in the world. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has the medicine for that, has the prescription for that for us. And, you know, so we study from the Student Regional Minister Abdul Hakim Muhammad's lectures, Sunday lectures, and the Spiritual Injection program on Thursday, because it's over Zoom. You know, we're able to tap in that way. And he pointed out that, you know, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the master healer. He has the prescription for both black inferiority and for white supremacy. So we have to go to the healer, to the messenger of God, you know, for that medicine. And then I can certainly bear witness, and all three of us can bear witness, that like feeding off of that truth has been medicinal for us, has helped us to become better human beings, has given us like structure, a program. We're not just kind of wandering in the dark and dealing with our own nature. It's like someone that tells you the truth about yourself. That's a true friend, you know, rather than someone that will just kind of like, you're out here looking terrible in front of the whole world, but they'll just never tell you about it, right? Right? Never tell you about yourself. No, we need the truth. We need the truth. And it's like, so I'm an herb farmer. I work with herbal bitters, right? So bitters are something that the body needs when it's sick, you know? Like, if you don't want the bitters now, if it doesn't taste good, like just wait until you have all kinds of digestive problems, like you're really sick, you're really like crying out for help, you need the bitter medicine, and you start taking the bitters. It might go down like it might feel a little crunchy going down or whatever, right? But it starts to heal us. A knowledge of self, knowledge of reality, and knowledge of God, because we're not going to be reconnected to Allah, God, except through his messenger, which we bear witness that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his messenger, you know? So it's a take it or leave it reality. And once we take it, it heals us. You know, and now it's just like waking up in a reality of truth. And the other thing is, it's like it forces us out of a selfish outlook. you know, it's not just about me. It's not about, it's really a bigger picture here. And being able to look at life through that bigger picture is a blessing, a huge blessing. It gets us out of our own, you know, selfish mindsets and inclinations, and just reconnects us to the human family. So it's like, these are the fruits of study and acceptance of something that at first might seem a little challenging to accept, right? But has transformed our lives and just made us stronger individuals, and has served us in life, greatly in life. Yeah. Anyone else have any other comment, or should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I just had something come to my mind about how we started to end with is that because I was feeling my face, and that was also one of the reasons why I didn't have all that much trouble accepting the teachings of Yaqub, and why I was curious, because I can barely look at the sun without getting totally roasted. I'm kind of in the dark, but I'm really peace.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Jacob.
But yeah, I was just thinking about in my area where we are, it was this epic 75-degree sunny day here in April, which for gray Finger Lakes is very unusual. And then tomorrow, everyone is going to be trying to figure out how to save their fruit crops, their fruit trees, their fruit blossoms, because Allah brings forth all this life with the sun, and then just you can wipe it all away, in an instant almost. There's a moment where if it dips the temperature, just all that fruit is not going to be fruit. Those blossoms will be damaged. And that was also as far as the divine purpose, to show forth and prove that even with the absolute apex of power that the Caucasian has been permitted to reach, that God will lay his cities to waste in an hour. And that really impacted me that I just said, that so intrigued me, because I just wanted to see that type of, evil and wickedness that would poison families in their water and in their food, and through all of these different means. It just seemed nobody really was coming with anything that was a match to that. And so that was what really brought me comfort. And so, but on a deep level, it was this immediate, trustworthy, so it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but it's kind of when you're doing a really complicated puzzle and you don't really have a great picture, great lighting, but when those pieces go together, it's kind of undeniable. And so it was I don't know what the whole picture was. I still don't, but I was assured that at least, that really was a solid connection point for me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You, sister. That's right. It's there's a part of all of us that's we want to see this wicked world go out, by any means necessary. There's a part of us just at that, our humanity, that even if it's our people that are the problem, we look out and we see this is a problem. This must end. The oppression of Black people all over the earth must end by any means necessary. I rejoice, what the Palestinians are going through, what people in the Sudan are going through, just the amount of suffering in this world. If we've identified the cause of the problem, there's part of us as human beings that, this is the solution that makes sense. When you take emotion out of it, this makes sense that, the oppressor must be brought down. The problem must be removed, by any means necessary. And Allah is not unjust to any of his creatures. Any of us who, submit, Allah can make a way for us, but what's not going to happen is is the continued destruction of the human family. That's not going to happen. Praise be to Allah. We bear witness. So, Brother Jacob, Assalamu alaikum. How do you relate to this topic? How do you see these teachings? Especially regarding Yaqub and knowledge of our history. How does that sit with you, or what are your thoughts, brother?
Well, it was the most refreshing thing in my entire life to learn the truth, regardlessly if I was the devil. It was the truth, and that was refreshing. And I didn't take it personally, because I knew that I liked good things. I didn't like bad things. I didn't like cruelty. I wasn't about tricking people and lying to people, or none of that kind of stuff. But I live in a world full of lies and trickery and cruelty. And when I finally came across the teachings and accepted the teachings, it was beautiful. There was no turning back. The discipline took years for me to start eating once a day. It's been 10 years and I'm still trying to master that. However, the realities never changed. Nothing has changed my mind. It's been over 10 years now. Nothing has changed my mind.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. I did get the question, mind sharing your journey from Orthodox Islam to the nation, please? All praise be to Allah. Yes, so I came into Orthodox Islam through a past relationship, and I was actually a feminist at the time, so I love it. It's like Allah really brought me like total change of paradigm several times, right? And I truly thank Allah for guiding me, right? So it was the clash of the feminist paradigm and Islam. And, a lot of us are, in the Western world are raised with the idea that Islam is oppressive to women. So that was one of my, big issues that I needed to clear. And so I started reading about the lives of the wives of Prophet Muhammad. I started reading the history and the life of Prophet Muhammad and Islam, and I read the Quran, and it absolutely spoke to me. I saw that it was the truth, and I accepted Orthodox Islam. And unfortunately, I bear witness that in the Orthodox community, there's a huge stigma against the Nation of Islam. And it was something that, as a new Muslim, I had read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and I was very, something really gripped me about that. And I saw justice, especially racial justice in Islam, and that really spoke to me and pulled at me. So when I would ask about, the Nation of Islam, it was really jarring to hear, the nation are not real Muslims, they practice shirk, all of these things, and that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So I had a painted image of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that couldn't have been further from the truth. And that's one of the reasons why I am so passionate about giving testimony, to try and reach the Orthodox Muslims that you just don't hear. You don't hear the truth when you're only hearing the Orthodox Islamic standpoint. You just hear like the accusations, and they're kind of considered as fact that the nation hates white people, that it's nationalistic, that it's racist, that it's anti-Semitic, that it's, So that's what I had actually thought. It was ingrained in my mind for a couple years. These things kept me from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And it wasn't until I met a member of the Nation of Islam, Brother Azim. He's the life-giving MC. So shout out to him, because he really taught me and talked with me and broke down these misconceptions I had in my mind. And there were a few things that really changed my mind. One was the Million Man March. Once I heard about the Million Man March and I saw, you know, that it was a reality, that just broke my whole mindset, because I hadn't really heard. I just didn't think it was real until I saw the Million Man March, and so, like, oh wow, this man has juice, this man has impact, this man is speaking justice, truth to power. And the other thing I have to say that really caught me, this was right around 2019. I looked at the NOI.org website, just like checking it out, right? And I saw that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had just gone to Iran to warn them, to speak and to warn them. And so I saw that, and then I saw on the news that the United States had killed Soleimani, the military general of Iran. They had assassinated him, and I saw a video of Muslims, Iranian Muslims, circling around his, at his funeral, millions of Muslims weeping. And it was like a foreboding moment for me that the war of Armageddon is here, and the mouthpiece of God told us about it. And that, for me, affirmed that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the mouthpiece of God, and that I need to lock in with him. And yeah, and then and also I had a deep encounter with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as well, because my first thought, once I was grasping that this is really the truth and the mouthpiece of God, my next thought was, well, if the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his teacher, I want to hear it directly from him. I want to get right to the root of the matter, like in spiritual matters. Obviously, this is so important. And so I started listening to all these lectures by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and hearing the truth of the white man is the devil. And when I heard that, by that time, I had to agree, just looking at the bigger picture of the history of slavery and the continued history of racism, police brutality, mass incarceration. I had to look at it and just say, yeah, finally someone just told the truth. Oh my gosh. And then it was a journey from there. It's like you can't unhear the truth when you hear the truth. You can't unsee the truth when you see the truth. So no matter how jarring it might be, it's like you can't unsee it. So all praises are due to Allah. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Can I
yeah. Please.
You brought up the Million Man March, and when there's a lot of white supremacy being promoted today, and one of the main narratives is, what about black on black crime? And the perfect rebuttal to that is, what about the time when 2 million black men got together in one spot and no crime was committed and the whole city was cleaned up? Not 2 million people, not 2 million black people, but 2 million black men got together and just proved the whole black on black crime nonsense wrong. It is such a the Million Man March is such an evident piece of information that the Nation of Islam is right and exact, and that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the most important person on the planet right now. And I just had to say something. Thank you for letting me join, by the way.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right, family. Any closing words?
I had something I wrote down earlier I was thinking about.
Yes, sir.
Yaqub was born out of the 30% dissatisfied. We were born out of the 100% dissatisfied. And I was thinking about, we are a result of a universal change taking place, I think. Total and complete dissatisfaction. And I think we're looking at a new reality. So I was very, very grateful to find you guys. I thought I was the only white guy in the world that, you know, was coming across these teachings and putting this stuff together. And I'm very, very grateful to have found you guys and to study with you guys and get to know you guys. This is awesome. This is, I love it. So.
All praises are due to Allah. He said,
Yeah, I don't want to go yet. I know you might have to leave. I should have joined earlier. I'm very honored to be a part of this conversation.
all praises are due to Allah. Yeah, do you have anything else you want to share, Brother Jacob?
I'm sure I could talk all night if I wanted to. Yes, we do exist. Like Brother Adam said in one of his videos, we do exist. And I felt the same way.
Maybe.
I used to think I was the only one until I came across Sister Courtney, Farmer Courtney, and she helped me meet the rest of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All praises are due to Allah. Do you plan to do this again? Inshallah, yes, ma'am. In whether it's an IG live or another forum, yes, ma'am. Inshallah. And yeah, family. So we are on this path. We're striving to become helpers of the Messiah. That's the intention here, you know, is to bear witness and through our testimony, you know, bring more people to the truth. And yeah, and all praises are due to Allah. So I think that is it for now. So thank y'all so much for joining us. Yes, ma'am. Sister Courtney?
Yeah, no, I was just agreeing. I have had a very long day at the farmer's market, so I am ready to sign off here. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. All right.
May Allah continue to bless all of us. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam.